Climate change is certainly having a negative influence on virtually every aspect of every economy in the world. Tell me, how is climate change having an impact on food security?
This is at the moment especially caused by weather uncertainty. You feel that what at former times you could be sure that there was, for example, in Ghana, 6-7 weeks of rainy season. Today, even in the rainy seasons, it might be that there is not enough rain. Rain and water is the fundamental need for farmers. They need this humidity for farming. If this rain doesn't come, you can't really have good yields, and then there is a lack of food in the markets, and you have whether to import it or to reduce your daily consumption. So this weather uncertainty, but on the long term, the soils are really changing and not as fertile as they are. You need, for example, to buy fossil fertilizers. So in the long term, food becomes more expensive because of the reduced fertility of soils, and sometimes you have even floods that are destroying your harvest. So this uncertainty is really that what we will feel in the next years, that it is, you never know as farmer what weather will really affect your yields and harvest.
Now we have arable lands here in Africa, especially the tropical zone here in Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, even Mali, Burkina Faso, and all those areas in the western part of Africa where we can grow food for ourselves. But these days, you see hunger and all that. Are we to expect famine in Africa, especially the west of Africa, even though we have the arable lands?
Yes, there would be enough, but there are a lot of reasons. One main reason in our view is that the agricultural model your governments are following are the models we have in Europe or in US or in Australia, which are very, very dependent from this chemical fertilizers and pesticides.
Okay.
And this dependency and this chemical use are really destroying your arable land in the long term. At the beginning, you have really better yields, higher yields, but on the long term, if you are again and again, year by year, using these chemical fertilizers, then you need each year more to get the same. So we are proposing in the World Food Organization and to governments to shift to another more sustainable agricultural model. We call it agroecology, where fertilizer used are by organic ones from cattle, from waste, and so you are not as dependent, and then the soils will remain with a natural fertility year by year. And you can even produce more on the long term than using on the short term fossil fertilizers.
So, finally, on food, apart from the chemicalization of our lands, what are some of the contributing factors that could actually bring about farming in Africa?
It's also knowledge. These times you need for better seed and scientific research how you can improve your seed in this times of uncertainty, so that farmers have a variety of seeds they can bring on the fields, so that whatever weather conditions are, you have at least a part of good harvest. So investing in knowledge, in vocational training, and especially in science would be really a remarkable improvement of agricultural production. The other point is storage and cooling, so that you reduce the post-harvest losses. And also for example, Ghana has a large fisheries sector. Also in fisheries, you can improve for better working conditions, for example, for women transforming fish, so that what you are getting from fields, from seas, from lakes, from the water, you can really bring to the markets. And as you have more, you can reduce prices for the population. You need also transforming food so that it can really last longer, for example, tomatoes, and reducing your import dependency. You can also increase market and price for farmers, so that they can really be sure if they produce more, they get more money for, and they can really have open markets for themselves and not for import goods.